Well, good afternoon. It is Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker. And today is Sunday, the 9th of March, 2025. And it's approximately 12:50 p.m. Mountain Time. And I am in Brush, Colorado, about an hour, about 60 miles to the east of Greeley, Colorado, where my delivery is set for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, Mountain Time. Now, it's been an interesting 3 days or so. I've got 3 days of whisker growth on my face. I left the house on Thursday, early afternoon, which is to say about 12:30, and I did shower and shave on Thursday morning this last week. Anyway, let's introduce the equipment for today. And I'm using a nice little Cutlery World First Class made in Soligen, number 7801, I should say, 7801. And on the back side it says made in Soligen. And it's a 5/8, and this was honed up on an Arkansas stone. And I used this on Thursday morning for a quick shave because I had shaved the day before, and I didn't have it about 24 hours growth, but I wanted to knock it down because I was not going to have an opportunity to shave for several more days. And so I used this razor, and I got a delightful sharp shave out of it, and it certainly felt like an Arkansas stone to me. Not sure which one, black, translucent, true hard, but it was a delightful shave. So I thought I would use it this morning on my next shave, whenever that might have been, which turns out to be this morning. And so there we are with that. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and now here it is Sunday morning. It's the morning of the fourth day, so 72 hours, whatever. Our brush is going to be the Sterling Soap Company 26. I believe this is a 26 or a 28, 26, I believe, millimeter badger, and it's a fine badger. I'm almost tempted to call it, if I didn't know better, and the price point on this was about $50, $55 or so, maybe 65. And it's just a delightful brush, and I would put it almost on a par with what I know to be my Golden Nib 30 millimeter premium silver tip badger, and it's just what I call my workhorse. You've heard me call it my workhorse badger. And it's almost on the same par as, this brush is almost on the same par as that brush. And that's an $80 knot by itself. Anyway, put that back in the water to soak. And I am using this morning my travel tobacco. You can see from the jar that it's soaking, and it's got the bottom wore out of it. The soap does. And interestingly enough, I must have taken note of that some time ago because I put in a new puck in that jar. I haven't started using it yet, but I put it in there to remind me that one's near done, near wore out. And so there's the new puck, and it smells like tobacco, and it's just lovely. So I love tobacco. In fact, tobacco is one of my top 3, top 5 that if I were stranded on a deserted island, I would want tobacco with me for sure. That and Mitchell Wolfat, and from that, I don't know where I would go with what I would want with me. So let's get going. I've got some things going on with the truck. I got some stories to tell about getting loaded. So I left the house at about noon or 12:30 on Thursday, went down to the truck. My intention being My intention being was to find the trailer, get hooked up to the trailer, get to a nearby truck stop, Love's truck stop, about 15 miles away. My load point was about 30 miles away, closer into Houston, from where I was. And where I was, my terminal is in Baytown, way out. If you were to look on a map and look up the Fred Hartman Bridge, we're on the northeast side of the Fred Hartman Bridge. And if you were to look even more closely and look for FM 1405, we're at the very bottom end of 1405, or real close to it. Anyway, and it's deserted and lonely out there. There are no amenities. After hours, it's absolutely a ghost town, and I don't like staying out there like that. There are certainly no trucker amenities, even on our own yard, and our yard is largely a chemical plant. 8 to 5, 7 to 3, whatever the hours are, employs bunches and bunches of laborers, and scientists and chemists and engineers and whatever else they employ. And it's like they came into the trucking business as an afterthought, because there are absolutely no typical amenities. For a truck driver on the yard out there. And there's a trailer parking lot. Our drivers can hook up to the trailers that they're going to use. They can spend the night on the yard. Boy, I'm making a mess of things. Now, tobacco is one of those soaps that I just love the way that it lathers up. And it's so different. Not different, it's very traditional. And some of the newer soaps that I rail about, like A&E soaps, Ariana and Evans, and some of the other specialty soaps, I'm not going to call others. Barrister and Mann's another one that I'm not particularly fond of, although the soaps have great scent. They have great slickness. What they don't have is lathering. And so if the soap doesn't lather, I'm not much fond of it. That's one of the things I love about Sterling soaps. But they tell you right on the lid, on the label, tallow, and tallow's the real secret, and I'm sure others who actually make soap, Eric, the Cajun Blade, can probably confirm what I'm saying. It's the tallow that gives it the strong lathering qualities. At least that's what I surmise from what I hear other people say. I'm certainly no expert. And I don't know what it is that keeps the other soaps, A&E and Barrister and Mann and others, that keeps them from lathering. I don't know, it seems to me if you're going to make a shave soap that you would want it to lather and not just become anyway, I won't say the rest of it. So here we're going to use this first class Soligen 7801. I don't know what that number means. I want you to look at that. Just look how clean and smooth that is from 3 days growth of whiskers. To me, that's just beautiful. Just beautiful. And it feels good doing it. The shower was nominally warm. It certainly wasn't hot. And the water in the sink is barely tepid. It's just downright near cold. I don't know if that has anything to do with the outside temperature. It's probably in the upper 40s, mid 50s by now, but it was freezing overnight. I woke up this morning in Burlington. Today's a short day, which is why I'm shaving at this hour and this close. Got loaded. Now let's go back to the schedule. I got to the yard about 1:30, found my trailer, got hooked up. Now the real challenge for this load was, for me, the load time. 4 o'clock Friday morning, 0400 Friday morning. So that's why I wanted to get as close as possible into a truck stop, close to the shipper, the load point. And get in and get loaded at 4 o'clock Friday morning. And so got to the truck stop, got in there at about 3 o'clock or so, 3:30, a little bit later than I would have wanted, and sure enough, it was jammed up. There was not an open parking place. And so my plan was to go back to the yard, 15 miles away. But that's the risk that you run, especially in a big city like Houston, at the truck stops, is that on the weekends they're going to be jammed up because generally those drivers got nowhere to go. A lot of them are from out of town, and they're sitting there waiting until Monday morning to go make their delivery. Most of them are loaded. And so I exited the parking lot, and as soon as I made the right-hand turn, I noticed that the right side curb was wide open and it's legal parking. And so I jumped onto the curb as far forward as I could go. and other trucks fell in behind me later in the day and evening, and other trucks were ahead of me. And so for me, lights out at 6 p.m., 1800. My alarm was set for 2:40, 2:40. And surprisingly, this is the second time I've had to do this in so many weeks. And most of my driving career over the last 15, 20 years, I've been able to avoid those early morning loads. Don't ask me how. I've had a few, not a lot. And so I got up and the load time of 4 o'clock was what my boss described as first come, first serve. So it was not an exclusive appointment for me. That's just what time their gate opened. And needless to say, I wasn't happy about that at all. And it just kind of is what it is. And so you try to be the first one there. I arrived at the gate at 3:45 a.m. Ooh, I got a lot of soap. Anyway, the long and the short of the first problem arose of the day. When I got to the security, the paperwork I had did not have the right load number on it, loading number, which not my fault, out of my control. That's one of those things above my pay grade. The people who put I hate to blame my boss, but there it is. He put the paperwork together for me, and I'm trusting that the paperwork he's giving me is accurate, but it wasn't. And so here I am at 4 o'clock in the morning, and the only choice I've got is to go back to the yard to see if I can find it in this rack. And I did not. I got back to the yard, but they got me travel ready as quick as possible to get me out of there so I could be on my way. That's called being rejected. And that's the truth. I was rejected for the load. And I had to go back to the yard. I searched this rack, could not find the correct loading paperwork. So at 5:15, 5:30, I had to call my boss on the Friday morning, and He wasn't happy, I wasn't happy I had to do it, but he walked me through where to find the paperwork, and I found it. The problem was the paperwork that I did have didn't have my trailer number on it, and that had another different trailer number on it, which disqualified me. They wouldn't take me with that trailer number. All right, fine. So I got back over there to the plant, the loading plant, at about 6:15 a.m. And you know what a difference a couple hours makes. The whole approach into the plant was jammed up. It's a little two-lane street, and it's got houses on one side of the street. So one side is a neighborhood, the other side is the plant, and what's in front of you is the plant. And and you're having to battle residential traffic going in. They're coming out. They're going to work. You're going into the plant. I'm sure they have voiced their concerns, but I wouldn't want to live in that neighborhood at all if that was your way in and out to your house. And just terrible. And so I sat there for about 45 minutes because there was 2 trucks ahead of me, several behind me. But what I noticed is that the ones that were behind me, the drivers were getting out of their trucks and they were coming over to the security to check in. You know, and if you sit there long enough, you get the idea, hey, maybe I ought to do the same thing. And so I did, and the lady said, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to check in as soon as you get here, regardless of where you're at. Even if you're 2 blocks back, you're supposed to go check in with security as soon as you get in. Because here's the thing. This particular loading facility has 3 loading racks. When you get inside and make the left turn, there's 3 loading racks, and the 3 of them, no, scratch that, 4 loading racks, and each of them have different products, and the trucks that are lined up are all after different products, maybe from you. And so sure enough, I get up there, and she says to me, yeah, if you can make your way around those 2 trucks, you can come right on in and go to rack number 4. Oh, really? Yeah. But you've got to move over to the left. Your left wheels are on the dirt edge, and there's a 3-foot drop off down into a gully ditch. And so, and when you pass the truck on your right, you got about 3 to 6 inches, and so it's dangerous and just plain not safe. And so I made my way around and went to rack number 4, and they took me straight away, got me loaded, and I was out by 8 o'clock, lo and behold. Now, so that took care, but my day was shot. Having to go back, do that, find that paperwork. I went from Houston, Texas, and getting loaded to Oklahoma City, north of Oklahoma City, to Guthrie, Oklahoma, about 40 miles north of Oklahoma City, and got in and safely parked for the night. I forget what time it was, about well, I started my clock at 2:30, so I was done by 4:30, my 14-hour clock. I went over my 14-hour clock by 5 minutes. And so I didn't drive 11 hours by no means, but most of my time was spent sitting and waiting, and going, well, yeah, and trying to find that paperwork and calling my boss and getting everything squared away and blah, blah, blah. Because it's only 8 hours, 8.5 hours from Houston to Guthrie. And so that was Friday night. Got up Saturday morning, drove from there to, so Saturday morning got up and drove to my stop last night, which was Burlington, Colorado. And that was close to a 600-mile day. And it was a good day, just driving, doing what truck drivers love to do, that's drive a truck. You know, I take that back. Let me revise my, yesterday was not a 600-mile day. It was a about a 350 to 400-mile day because it was 6.5 hours, 7 hours from Guthrie to Burlington. It was a short day. And then today was even shorter, 2.5 hours from Burlington to Brush, Colorado. And I understand it's approximately just less than 1,200 miles from Houston to Greeley. And so now I'm sitting an hour away from Greeley and my delivery point for tomorrow morning. Oh, here's the other thing that my boss threw on, certainly me, probably the other drivers that we have as well. Remember, we got a small company. He says he wants the trucks to be washed. He wants the trucks to be washed every other week or twice a month, which what that will require, and I asked him, I said, does that mean you want us to go to this truck washing company called Blue Beacon? And he said, yes. And in all the places that I've ever worked driving a truck, the companies had a large enough maintenance mechanics that the company washed their own trucks. The driver could request it to be washed, or if they saw that it needed to be washed, they would just, when the driver was out, they would come and take the truck, take it to the wash bay and wash the truck. Okay, great, fine. I had no argument with that arrangement. So I've never been to a blue beacon. I know they exist. I know what their purpose and function is, to wash trucks. But process and procedure, never been to one. And when I got done getting loaded in Houston, I happened to go over to a certain truck stop when I got done and saw that they had, this is before my boss made the comment, gave the instruction, washing twice a month. They had, this blue beacon had 3 lanes going into 3 different wash bays. And there were, and this was at 8:30 in the morning. And they were jammed up with 6 to 8, 4, 6, 8 vehicles, trucks and tractors and trailers in each of the 3 lanes. Now, I don't know how long it takes to wash, and what level of service you're getting and how long it's going to take. I don't know anything about that. And so I could see where that, my goodness. And once you get in a lane, I've heard this about blue beacons, once you get into one of the lanes to go get washed, they got concrete curbs all around, so you're stuck. You cannot get out. So I can only imagine how many hours it takes once getting into one of those lines with 4, 5, 6 vehicles ahead of you. How long is it going to take them to get you done and out of there? Which brings up all kinds of other questions. Like, are you going to pay me for sitting there doing nothing? Because when you're paid by the mile, you don't get paid by the hour. So that's all part of it that I've got to find out about. And since my new boss, which is my old boss, is now my boss again, and has been over there at this company for about a year, I'm sure he has a working knowledge of a routine. I can imagine the manner in which he's been running me for the last 3 months has been hot and heavy, fast-paced. And so I make the delivery, I tell him I've made the delivery, he shoots me my second load. Well, this one is going to take 5 days to run. Is he going to give me a second load? When does he anticipate that I should wash the truck? It seems to me that I would not wash the truck or have the truck washed while I'm out on the road. After he's given me the second load, I'm not going to do it on the first load because I've got to go make delivery. I make delivery, he gives me the second load, and so it makes only a certain amount of sense to me that the best time to stop and get the truck washed, not knowing how long it's going to take. Knowing that I'm going to get my time off, my home time, when I get back. So I'm empty, I'm coming back to home time, off time, and so that's going to be the time for me to stop and get the truck washed, because I'm not going to be under some load that's getting loaded tomorrow morning once I get back. Now, this place where I'm delivering in Greeley tomorrow, I've been there before, easy in and out. There is a Blue Beacon truck wash that I may stop at in western Kansas along Interstate 70. When I passed by them yesterday, I could see them clearly from the highway, and they were jammed up with trucks and vehicles trying to get in line. Not yet. I don't know if they'll knock at my door or not. But they do not have one of those red-green vacant occupied. And so, needless to say, I've got my lock under the door. So I'm not worried about somebody barging through. And if you've watched me for very long, you know that that's a real problem. Ooh. That felt like it was slicing through a filet mignon on my lip. Well, my plan today is to go back to the truck. I'm safely parked. It's early in the day. And I'm just going to take a nap and watch movies all day. Boy, that's cold. So I've got 3 razors with me on this trip. My alternate is a vintage, this is a vintage razor, of course, that I'm using, the first class Soligen. I've got a blue steel special over here. That's a very nice American steel. And then I've got what I call my no-name Sheffield. I call it that because whoever restored it, sanded, you can barely make the word Sheffield out on the razor. But enough so that you can call it a Sheffield, I suppose. I was going to use it as my head shaver, but I'm going to use the first class. The thing about tobacco is that it's thirsty. It likes to dry up on you. I just took about half of the soap out of the brush. I'm doing my best to keep up with the videos of my fellow shavers that I like to follow and watch, and it's getting hard. I will tell you. No offense, fellas. I'm having a hard time keeping up. So last week was my colonoscopy procedure. I don't know if I've had a video since then where I've talked about it, but there's really not much to report right now. The doctor took out 3 polyps that were sent off for biopsy. But that doesn't worry me because every colonoscopy I have ever had, there have been polyps. And they've always come back non-cancerous or benign. By the way, I had a haircut, so shave, shower, shave, haircut. Or more precisely, in proper order, would be haircut, shower, shave. But we got it done. I feel good about it. All we can do is wait to see what the biopsy says on the other 3, on the 3 new polyps that were taken out. And the largest of the 3 was 11 millimeters. The big one last year that had the cancer in it was 21, 22 millimeters. But I'm a big advocate of older men, as your doctor recommends, getting the colonoscopy. And I understand that most medical insurance will cover colonoscopies as whether it's a preventative or diagnostic, which is to say you've been discovered with cancer and this is the follow-up. They always like to charge more for the follow-up because you're getting it done not at the normal time for the preventative every 3 years or so. But within 6 months, or in my case, 12 months. And don't do what I did. Not that I did it on purpose, mind you, but that lapse. Shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. So we will just call it lesson learned and be more diligent. But the other thing I understand too is that not only do most insurance cover colonoscopies, but the Medicare covers colonoscopies. Now with the haircut, I just did this before the shower and the shave. I always find it difficult to see where the line should be, so I'm just kind of approximating and had somebody calling in and I had to push them out. One of my truck driving buddies, I forgot to tell him I was stopping for the shower. But I'll work on the video and get it uploaded this afternoon, or let it upload tonight. All right, wait a minute. We're not quite done yet, almost. Put on the alum block and we will be. And so I'm putting this away, the first class Soligen 7801. Let's see. Cutlery World. Nice little razor, just beautiful. Got a wonderful shave both last Thursday and today. Got some soapy water with the tobacco. When I squeezed out starting to let my brush soak, squeezed it out. Got some good sting here going. Nothing unbearable. Got a good slick head shave. Okay, so and there it is. It's done. We use the tobacco. Sterling Soap Company's 26 millimeter Badger. Very nice brush. And that's it. Real simple shave. Just I take longer because I'm old and slow. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you down the road.